up, guys, and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and welcome to Everest Base Camp. Let's go ahead and hop out of the chopper here. My goodness, we have a journey ahead of us today. Today, we are going to be checking out Mount Everest on foot. We're going to be climbing Mount Everest here in a flight simulator, but walking around. Ever since they announced that you can literally walk anywhere on planet Earth in this game, I have wanted to check this out. So it looks like we've got our base tents and stuff set up here at base camp. Can hear our feet crunching in the snow here. We've got a long way to go today. Look at this little statue to commemorate the start of our journey here. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that we're about to try this. Take it in, folks. This is going to be a long, long journey. Look at our helicopter over there. You can hardly even see it with all the snow. Little perspective for the journey we're about to go on. This is us at base camp at about 17,700 feet. This is just the beginning of our journey because we are going to be climbing that thing right there. That last point in the distance. That is the top of Mount Everest. So we can kind of see our journey here. This is the Khumbu Icefall. Camp 1's going to be somewhere around here. I'm pretty sure they have all the camps on the maps and stuff. We're going to go up through here, up through this valley. I think Camp 3 is going to be around here. This is Lhotse right here, this peak. We're going to go kind of up that, get up here, the Hillary Step, and boom, this is the peak of Mount Everest. So let's go ahead and get back down here, and I guess it's time we start walking. Keep in mind, this is walking speed. This is running speed. This is as fast as we can go right here. Bro, what the... Oh, this is gonna be something. I cannot believe this, so this is so cool. Go ahead and shut the chopper down here. Fuel shut off. Rotor brake. Turn the engine off here. Not gonna leave these guys out here just burning fuel. We wanna make sure we've got enough to get back to Lukla after we're all done. All right. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. It's time for me to begin my journey. So it's actually really interesting. One of the trips I want to do most is the trek to base camp. Anyone can do it. It's not hard. It's just a long journey. I think it takes around 12 to 14 days. Obviously a lot of hiking to be able to get up here, but the biggest thing is the altitude. You need to acclimatize yourself to it. You don't want to get that altitude sickness and stuff like that. So anyone can literally, you can fly to Kathmandu, then fly from there into Lukla, which is one of the coolest airports in the world. And you can trek to this with no, training or anything. Obviously, it helps to be able to be in shape, but that is something I really, really want to do. And hopefully one day Chelsea and I will have some vlogs for you guys on that. Oh my goodness, it looks like it's not even moving. I mean, our feet are moving. Confirmed. Feet are on the ground. They are moving. But here we go. We're just going to sprint our way up this mountain. Now, if you're actually climbing Everest, I think people will spend like 4 to 8 weeks-ish in base camp. It kind of depends. Obviously, again, you're kind of getting used to the altitude, getting ready for it, sometimes waiting for weather windows and whatever else. Looks like we have an absolute bluebird of a day here. Do we have the ability? I think we should be able to change the weather too. Live, sick. We can make it rain. Oh, that's kind of nice. I mean, she looks ominous. Let's see what else we can do. How about snowing? All right, some wintry vibe. Dude, that is we've got like a weird haze happening here. Snowing at sunset. Oh, I like that. The light rays coming through that valley that we're going to be climbing. Hurricane Katrina at Mount Everest. Okay. Let's focus up, Trev. Let's go back to our nice blue sky. Maybe a little bit later in the day with a few clouds just so we kind of have a little bit more detail on our snow here. Now, the total time for climbing Everest, I mean, I'm not an expert. I have an interest in Everest. I've always loved like documentaries and read books about it and stuff like that. But I think it takes somewhere between like 4 to 10 weeks. A lot of it depends on weather and a lot of random factors. I just look at all the detail here, dude. This is insane. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. All right, we're making good progress here, but obviously you got to get up to base camp. You're going to stay there for a while, kind of get used to it. Make sure all your gear's in order. Make sure that you're acclimatized to the altitude and things like that. And then you're going to do a lot of, I think they kind of like, they'll go up to base camp 1 and then come back down and go up to 1 and maybe stay at 1, then go up to 2, but then come back down. So it's not like you're just showing up and going straight up. Like, there's a lot of back and forth, just kind of a lot of prep for it. And then eventually you'll end up going for a summit push, which I think you're going to be going through the camps kind of in order, and you know, everything's ready to go. Your body's ready for it. Your equipment's ready. Everything looks good. The weather hopefully is going to be good, even though it can change really, really quickly out here. And I think that takes like maybe a few days, maybe a week or something like that. Again, I'm not 100% sure, but it's just really interesting. I mean, that's something I would love to do someday too, but it's honestly really, really intimidating, and that's something you definitely have to train for. The trek would be cool because you get to see the mountain, you get to say you hiked to Everest, quote unquote, but you didn't put your life at risk. Base camp is disappearing into the distance back there, and it looks like we're getting to one of the first challenges here in the Khumbu Icefall. I think this is one of the more difficult sections, obviously, here in Flight Sim. We aren't going to have the giant glaciers and crevasses and things that you're going to have to cross with all the little ladders and everything. We can just kind of climb the face here. I feel like we're making some pretty decent time. I'm all right with this so far. Yeah, I don't think you'd be able to just straight climb up this thing however you want, but we're making some solid progress here. Might be a world record. I think the record for climbing Everest is somewhere around 11 hours. It was a Sherpa that did it with supplemental oxygen. I think without oxygen, somebody did it in like 16, 17, something like that. Oh my gosh, this is just so beautiful here. But yeah, this is the Khumbu Icefall. You can kind of see, I mean, we don't have any crazy crevasses or anything, but basically this is it's a giant living, breathing glacier. Obviously not living and breathing, but it's moving. I think it moves a few feet per day, depending on the temperatures and how much it's warming up. And, you know, obviously with that, you're going to have giant holes opening up in it. So you could take one wrong step and fall, you know, hundreds of feet to your death, never be able to get out. I mean, there have been some rescue operations and stuff, but obviously it's not something you want to do. Avalanches, giant pieces of ice falling, like it's sketchy. You leave the base camp instantly tasked with one of the toughest, you know, parts of it, or most dangerous parts of it. I don't think it's the toughest. The Sherpas go ahead and they kind of set up all the ladders and the anchor points and whatever else, but still, it's absolutely no joke. I think there's like 1% to 2% of people die trying to summit Everest. This is a big part of it here. Obviously, weather and you know, other issues, getting sick, hurting yourself, that kind of thing is kind of the main culprit. But you know, slipping and falling in a crevasse is definitely one heck of a way to go. All right, well, looks like we made it, I think, up to Camp 1. I don't think there's any actual solid structured building up here. This would just be a bunch of tents and stuff, but look at that, baby. We've got air conditioning up here. We've got drapes on the windows. This is just a nice hotel, huh? Oh, that is beautiful, dude. Come on. The sun flare happening. Oh, look at all this is the blue of the glacier here. Okay. Let's take a peek, see at what's to come next. Oh my goodness, dude. You got to climb pretty much straight up, and then it looks like this kind of slows down a little bit. We've got another... Oh, this is Camp 1 up here. Okay, I guess we're still on the Khumbu Icefall here. We still got a way to go. I don't know why there was a building down there, but all right, so Camp 1 is going to be here. Make our way through this valley to Camp 2, up to Camp 3, and up to the summit. I just can't believe that this is where we're at. I can't believe we have a full Earth recreation where we can literally walk up to the summit of Mount Everest, which is not that right there. That's a big looking mountain right there, isn't it? Nope, that's not it. We got to go a lot higher. So let's keep pushing. We are almost up to base camp number 1. Thank you. I'm climbing Mount Everest, by the way. Thank you for the reparations. Really appreciate it. Oh, we got some breakfast tacos happening here. My goodness. And you could do it from the comfort of your own home while your wife brings you a delicious snack. Even better. Why would I want to climb Mount Everest in real life when I can just do it here? Thank you, babe. Love you. This is just so incredible, man. So we're starting to get up towards Camp 1. We're going to have kind of a bit of a reveal coming up. There's Lhotse. It's kind of like a twin peak next door, not quite as tall. I just can't imagine the sense of relief, like the excitement that you're on your way, the trip is actually happening, but then once you get up over the crest of the icefall and you're in this like giant, it's called like the Western something. It's basically just a giant valley. Camp 1's the start of it. You kind of make your way through it to Camp 2, but just like think, you get up over that icefall, you're safe, you made it, you're on your way to the peak, and now you have this giant flat expanse that you get to kind of rest a little bit. Like at this point, you're just kind of trekking. You're just walking along. You don't really have too many issues, any exciting moments to come. There's nothing risky, really. I mean, it's always risky, but you just kind of get to chill for a minute before continuing on your climb, which we can't even see. That's Mount Lhotse still. We still can't see. It's back behind there. There's Base Camp 4, and Everest is back there. You still haven't seen the tip of where you're going. Now, Camp 1, it's supposedly really, really freaky. Like, it's eerily silent. Obviously, we are in this giant valley blocked by all of these mountains. Apparently, it's just super, super quiet. There's no wind, really. It's kind of almost like a relaxing, chill moment in the climb. And then, obviously, I mean, Camp 3 is all the way up there. Camp 2 is going to be off to the left. It's a little daunting that you can see just how far that you have to go. And here she is, just slowly about to peek around the corner here. You were looking at 29,000 feet up there. And right now, I think we would be somewhere around 19,000 feet or so. So that is where we're going. And we have a long way to get there. We've got to go all the way up this, take a left, and go up the side. The fact that you're sitting here staring at Camp 3 and you know that that's so far away. Camp 2, you can't even really see yet until we get over this hill, and you're like, oh, I can see it. It looks close. But it's not. I mean, really, in the grand scheme of things, 2.76 nautical miles, that's not that far. You just got to think about you're carrying all your stuff. The Sherpas will typically be helping you with a lot of the heavy lifting and have kind of things set up for you as you go. But you've got all the stuff on your pack. You've got, this giant suit that's limiting your movement. But imagine you get pretty hot too, right? And you got to, wear layers and manage all of that. You've just got the altitude itself. You've been acclimatizing. You've been training. You've used altitude masks and stuff at home. You've been working out. You've been doing whatever, preparing for this. You've spent weeks at base camp getting ready for it. Let's start aiming towards Camp 2 here. But, still being at this altitude, humans are not meant to really survive up here. So you're not really going to get that much oxygen. You're not using any supplemental oxygen yet. I think that typically comes a little bit further up Camp 3 and then really kind of up that way. That's where you get into the dead zone. Oh my gosh, dude, look at the colors and stuff here. This is so cool. But yeah, I think it's the death zone. Is that what it's called? When the air just gets so thin, and it's so funny because it doesn't look that far away, but you're going so high. The air's so thin, it really limits your ability to perform and move and even like decision making and stuff like that. So that's why most everyone, I think it's like 98% of people will use extra oxygen canisters when they summit, when they kind of get up into the higher parts. It's actually really sad. That's also a big part of the trash problem, is that people will go up and they'll, whether it's food or your human waste, or especially like the oxygen canisters and stuff, people will end up leaving that stuff behind. And obviously it can't really go anywhere. There's no garbage collection service. So a lot of Everest is kind of becoming pretty littered. I think there's a big kind of movement to bring down more trash than you brought going on right now. But yeah, I don't know. It would be tough. Think about being hot, out of breath, exhausted, battling the elements, carrying a bunch of stuff, and you're just trudging along. I think the temperatures for me would be the hardest part. I don't like being cold. I also don't like a lot of like variation, you know what I mean? Like from what I've seen, and I've watched videos on it and stuff, I guess like, obviously at nighttime it is extremely cold, below freezing. You're just trying to fight against frostbite and stay warm and whatever else in this little tent. But then during the daytime, you've got the sun shining down on you. You've got it reflecting off of all the snow. So everything is just super, super bright and super warm. Like people are out there in like shorts and no shirt on and stuff like that. Obviously, when you're actually trekking, you've got all your stuff on. But when you're chilling in the base camp, just getting acclimatized and stuff like that, you can just like lounge around. Obviously, the snow is cold, but everything around you, the actual temperature is warm, which is really, really weird. So we are making our way to Camp 2 here. I think typically we would be kind of walking a little bit further along the edge of the mountain here, just kind of using it as a little bit of protection. I think as we get towards this side of this giant valley, the wind can start to pick up a little bit. What a tease this would be. You're less than 2 miles away from the peak of Mount Everest if you could just simply walk straight up. But instead, you've got to go to Camp Pier and take the long way around to be able to get up there. That's crazy, man. But here we are, Camp 2. Kind of a pretty important stop. This is, they call it advanced base camp. It's you know, kind of a main staging area for the final parts of the climb. Camp 1 is kind of nothingness. It's you know, pretty low key. Camp 2 is going to have much bigger tents, much more equipment, weather monitoring stations. Like it's kind of the, like I said, main staging area. So as we said before, you kind of go up and down, up and down, up and down. This is going to be your main home, I think, for most of the climb. You're going to go up to 3, back down, up to 3, back down, up to 4, back down, that kind of thing. Just kind of acclimatizing and getting ready for your moment to be able to actually make a push for the summit. So this is nice. So what's crazy is we started at base camp, which was 17,700 feet, and now we are up to about 21,000 feet. So we've gone up 4,000 feet, which is no small task. We have another 8,000 feet to go. From a lateral distance standpoint, like length of the hike, we've got a good chunk knocked off here, but we're only 1/3 of the way through the actual ascent, which is crazy. To be honest, I love how we're out here just in some sneakers and jeans, but imagine looking up at that. This is the face of Mount Lhotse, so this is pretty much just a super steep, like 40 to 50 degree incline slab of ice. You've got your crampons on, you've got, you know, you're attached to ropes, you've got all your little ice picks and everything. You're using some really technical climbing here. This is one of the harder parts of the climb from like a technique standpoint. And you are going up just a giant sheet of ice. It's crazy to think that, like, it's just so rugged out here. Like the best option for you to climb up this mountain is just going up a wall of ice. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. It just doesn't even look like planet Earth. This is so insane. That sun beaming down on you. Again, super, super hot, so you take your jacket off, but then you get blasted with air, so you're cold, so you gotta put it back on. I'm sure I'm really oversimplifying this, and I think you've got a lot of other problems besides being hot and cold, but it definitely wouldn't make things comfortable. Looking back down to Camp 1 all the way over there, base camp even further below that. I mean, it's been quite a journey so far. I just can't even imagine, man. We are in knee-deep snow right now, just climbing straight up. 40 to 50 degrees doesn't sound like a lot. I mean, 45 degrees is a lot. You're on like a perfect incline there and just climbing up and up and up and up. And to think about the fact that you kind of go up and down, like it's at this point, Camp 3 is where you start to use oxygen. Most people will. Again, the whole mountain has been climbed without it, but 3 is kind of where a lot of people put it on. A little bit past 3 is where pretty much everyone puts it on. To think that, like, you're going up to 3 and you're in this area where you're really not supposed to be. Humans cannot thrive there. You will slowly go crazy and lose motor function and stuff like that due to lack of oxygen. So you're going up to this place and you can't stay here for very long. So then you go back down this face, back to Camp 2 to rest and re-energize and whatever else. And you go back up to 3 to do it again and then back down to Camp 2. Like, thinking about climbing up and down this giant 45-degree thing is just ridiculous. The end is in sight, though. We're getting there. Oh, that's got to be such a tease, dude. I'd want to take that little shortcut right there. I don't think that's possible. I mean, I guess anything's possible, but we're gonna do this by the book. Half a mile to Camp 3. It looks like we're walking on the moon. Like, this is so sick. I just can't even imagine how exhausted you would be, and then you turn and you see that over there. Oh my gosh, looking down. I feel pretty accomplished just walking up this in the game. This has taken a lot of dedication. This is where your training really comes into play, because you have got to be able to perform on basically 1/3 of oxygen. I think the death zone starts at about 28,000 feet, which right here we're a little bit under that, but you're working at 1/3 of oxygen at sea level. So obviously your physical abilities are really limited here, but also your mental capacity. Your brain isn't getting enough oxygen. You're not going to be able to make as sharp or as smart or as quick of decisions and things like that. So you really need to be careful when you start to get in to this part of it. Oh gosh. Okay. It's going to let us climb this. I was a little bit nervous about that. I didn't know if it was going to get too steep, but it looks like we are going where no man should ever go here in Microsoft Flight Simulator, at least on the ground, that is. There's the peak of Lhotse over there. We're just going to mosey on by. We're looking to get over to this part to kind of climb up the backside. It's a little bit easier back here. This is just so incredible. But from here, this part of it, you don't really spend too long in this area. It's, you know, you're 3, I think it's kind of ill-advised to spend too much time there. You'll end up going back down to Camp 2 a lot. But in between 3 and 4, and even at Camp 4, you're really only going to be at Camp 4 for a few hours, maybe a night. I think you do some test runs up to it and then back down. But on your summit day, you're going to be climbing up to 4. You're going to rest for a little bit. Camp 4 is the very last spot that you have to you know, kick your feet back and rest, if you could even call it that. And then you immediately go up to the summit. Because again, you're kind of in no man's land up here. Humans were not designed to be up here. You are really kind of pushing the limits of what's capable. I mean, look at the view off in the distance, all the mountains without snow on it. This is just so cool. I think of how small you would feel. Like, I love when I'm like out looking at the night sky or watching videos in space or something like that, and you're just like, we are so small, we are so insignificant. Imagine being right between these two beasts. Like, oh, please don't clip that. We don't need that to be clipped. Let's try to get up to the crest here, and we're gonna see what we can see. Oh my gosh, dude. Oh, I just got chills. What is that over there? Not even sure. Not even gonna pop up. It's too far away. That's another one of the mountain peaks up there. All right, this is it. This is what we've been training for. This is what we've been working for. This is what we have spent the last few weeks of our life climbing for. We have officially reached Camp 4, and this is the final piece of the climb. Now, obviously, you are very exposed up here. Not only is the lack of oxygen working against you, but so is the wind. So that's why Camp 4 is kind of placed down here, tucked in a little bit as much as you can. I mean, there's only so much you can do to help. You're getting crazy winds up here, upwards of 60 miles an hour. Wind chill getting down to negative 40 degrees. Like, it's absolutely a barren wasteland up here. So we are about a mile and just over 3,000 feet of ascension away from the summit of Mount Everest here. And as you can see, you can't actually see the summit from this spot. It's kind of blocked from view. This part of the mountain is really rough and jagged and rock and ice and everything like that. So you kind of, I think you kind of go up here and then you kind of bounce around the right. We've got a few really technical spots coming up. Hillary Step is one of the most famous last kind of right before the summit things that you have to do. And well, you're just going to keep pushing up, baby. I think, you know, obviously right now it's kind of the middle of the day. We've got some beautiful sunlight and everything. Can't ask for a better day here. But in real life, I think you start the climb somewhere around midnight. So obviously earlier in the day, much better weather, less wind, that kind of thing. So you kind of start really, really early. You start making your way up. And I think a lot of people will summit around-ish sunrise. I don't know. It kind of depends how many people are on the mountain, what the weather's looking like. I'm sure you guys have seen those videos of like the giant traffic jams up on top of the mountain because there's too many people that are all trying to do the same thing, and there's really only one way that you can do it. I can't even imagine how upset I would be if I did all of this, spent all this money, trained for this long, got to this point, had a beautiful day, and couldn't get to the top because there were too many people. Just thinking about the level of exhaustion here. It's, you know, you're tired, you're dehydrated, you have a lack of oxygen, your brain isn't working right. You know, you're using your supplemental oxygen here, but it's just like the wear and tear on your body from weeks and weeks and weeks, but at the same time you're about to achieve this lifelong dream that you've had, that you've trained for. I don't know what would you know, be a stronger feeling. Probably the sense of excitement and you know, the hope that it's about to happen, but everything else in your body is telling you no. Let's zoom out here, dude. Oh my goodness. This is it. The last half mile. I just can't. I love that we live in a world of social media, and you can look up on YouTube and see videos of people like in this spot and see their live reactions and see like POVs of getting up here and actually experience that. But like, obviously nothing would ever compare to the real thing. Like this, to know that you are in the 0.0001% of people that have accomplished this. You have tamed one of the most difficult tasks that Mother Nature could ever possibly give you. I think we kind of go this way. I think this might be the Hillary step area in here. Obviously, it's not going to show up, but it's just kind of a very steep, rugged section of the mountain. But it's so funny, dude. Like, humans are weird. I want top mountain, highest points on space rock. I'm going to go climb this thing. I'm going to put myself through hell and back to be able to get up there just to say I've done it. Like, it's so funny. I don't know, been getting lots of retirement plans lately. Once the YouTube channel falls off, maybe I'll turn it into a mountaineering channel. Maybe that'll be the rebirth of the T. Martin channel. Go from COD to mountaineering. You guys know I've also been talking about becoming a farmer, playing farm sim and stuff. Like, these simulators are dangerous because they make you think this stuff is actually achievable, which it is, but a lot that goes into that. Oh my goodness, man. Wow. Just wow, dude. It's so quiet up here. I'm gonna be quiet for a second. Just the crunching of our footsteps, dude. Absolute legend. And his trainers just running up the side of Mount Everest, and we have almost achieved the unthinkable. Bro made a world record run here. Yeah, 11 hours by that Sherpa. We just did this, no extra oxygen, no equipment, ran up in probably like an hour and a half or so, maybe 2 hours. I mean, we stopped for views and talking and all kinds of stuff like that, but this is insane. Dude, we made it. The very highest point on Earth, over 29,000 feet in the air. And this, my friends, is the summit of Mount Everest. This would be so weird. When you're looking this way, you can't see anything but blue sky. The summit of Mount Everest. Almost there. Almost there. And we have drum roll, please. Oh my gosh, it's so far. Come on, come on, come on. We have made it. Oh my goodness. Just 360-degree views here on the tallest point, the tallest natural point of planet Earth. Over 5 miles above sea level, dude. That is absolutely insane. Let's zoom out here. Oh, are you kidding me? We really just did that. So hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to see you guys in our next flight sim video, maybe back in the skies. But we had to try this. If there's anything else we should do an East Coast to West Coast America walk? Let's walk from the tip of South America to the tip of Canada. I mean, literally anything is possible in this game. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to see you guys later. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed. Peace out.